Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to look at some of the weirdest football stadiums in American history. We will start in Barrow, Alaska, at Kathy Parker Field. This is a high school football stadium and the home of the Barrow High School football team. To start off, the football field playing surface is turf that is colored blue, and the end zone and logo in the center of the field are yellow. There is also very little stands for people to watch around the field, and most obvious is the location of it. It is almost at the north top of Alaska and right by the water. This is one of the craziest stadium locations, and sometimes polar bears are even seen near the field. The field opened in 2007 and is overall one of the most interesting football stadiums of all time. Next is a college stadium in Marquette, Michigan, which is the home to Northern Michigan University football. They are a Division II school and in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Their stadium is a dome, which makes sense being in that location. From the outside, it is very odd looking, and at the time it opened, it was the largest wooden dome in the world. Inside, you can see the wooden ceiling, and there's also a capacity for 8,000 fans. The dome opened in 1991 and costed $23.9 million to build. It's also located right by the lake and can hold many other events than just football. Next up is one of the strangest stadiums ever used by the NFL. In 1932, the NFL championship was between the Chicago Bears and the Portsmouth Spartans. They were supposed to play at the Bears' home stadium of Wrigley Field, but bad weather caused them to move the game. Instead, they played inside at Chicago Stadium, which was the first ever indoor NFL game. Chicago Stadium was not built for football, obviously. Because of this, there wasn't enough space, and the field was only 60 yards long instead of 100 and just 48 yards wide. This caused the game to have some special rules. Every time a team crossed the 10-yard line, the ball was moved back 20 yards. There was also no field goals allowed. Turf was not around yet either, so the playing surface was tan bark, which is basically a sort of wood chip. The attendance for the game was almost 12,000 fans, much less than show up to NFL games today, and the Bears ended up winning 9-0. Union City High School in New Jersey plays football at the Eagle's Nest. This is also the baseball stadium as well, and this causes it to look sort of strange. The field is turf, and you can see the base areas from baseball over the football field playing surface. The craziest thing about this stadium, though, is probably that it's on top of the roof of the high school. Some areas of the school go higher up and overlook the field. There's also a large amount of stands going along one side of the football field. The other side is just turf. It was built on the roof because of how dense the area is, and there's also a high fence surrounding it to prevent balls from going over. It's an extremely creative design and really cool to look at. Idaho State football plays at Holt Arena in Pocatello, Idaho. This is a college football stadium, and it looks very interesting from the outside. It opened in 1970 and has a capacity of 12,000. The stadium's curving roof is one of the cool parts of it, and at each end of the field they do not have seats. They have the goalposts and just a wall. This is fairly common for some of the smaller domed football stadiums, but it still looks odd. It's also been used a few times for basketball and other activities as well, but is mainly used for just football. The Round Valley N-Sphere is another wooden domed stadium, but this one is used for high school football and is in Eagar, Arizona. This is the only domed high school football stadium currently around, and it opened in 1991. From the outside, it looks very strange. It's certainly not the typical high school football stadium. It's very similar to the Superior Dome in many ways. The playing surface is turf, and there are seats along the sides of the field. Also, like the Superior Dome, it can be used for many different events within the community. Another very strange NFL stadium was Cleveland Stadium. This was shared by both the Cleveland Browns of the NFL and the Cleveland Indians of the MLB. The stadium first opened in 1931 and was home to several different football teams over the years. But the Browns would end up playing there from 1946 all the way until 1995. Because it was shared by both an NFL and an MLB team, it caused the NFL field to look kind of weird. There was an unusual amount of open space on the sidelines, not to mention the infield dirt on the playing surface during football games. After the 1993 season, the Indians baseball team got a new stadium, and the Browns played in Cleveland Stadium until 1995. After that, they moved to Baltimore and became the Ravens. During this time of absence, Cleveland Stadium was demolished and a new stadium was built on the site. That's where the Browns currently play, and they became an NFL team again in 1999. The current stadium is called First Energy Stadium. Grambling State football plays at Eddie G. Robinson Memorial Stadium. It opened in 1983 and has a capacity of 19,600. This stadium appears to be built into a hill and has grass around many parts of it. The bleachers also have a cool design on the home side. It looks really interesting to see large levels of seating on each side and then nothing but grass hills on the ends. It also looks like when you enter the stadium, you're at the press box level. James Madison football plays at Bridgeforth Stadium. It opened in 1974 and has a capacity of nearly 25,000. The stadium has a great view but looks extremely lopsided. On one side, there are 3 decks of seating, almost like what an NFL stadium would have, but on the other side, there's just one small one. And at the ends, there are seats on one side and on the other, just a building. The stadium also seems to be right by the water, which is very interesting. The final stadium is Taylor Field. Taylor High School in North Bend, Ohio, used to play at a field with a hill in the end zone.
Used to have a design play. It was a bootleg pass into the end zone, and you'd run up into the corner, and the quarterback would hit you in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown.
It is said that when the field was built in the 1920s, they just didn't have enough space to avoid it. Obviously, this isn't normal and could also be dangerous. In 2013, a new high school was built and they moved. This will always be remembered as one of the strangest football fields. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.